Hey guys, welcome to Purnell Handel's YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Home of Team Vet Boys Racing. Today we are at VIR Grand Course. We are going to do a hot lap followed by a tutorial. Today's conditions: track is 68 degrees and dry, weather 66 degrees, partly cloudy with 39% humidity. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the hot lap, and we will follow that with a corner by corner tutorial. Here we go.
Mic off. Mic on.
Okay, that completes our hot lap at VIR. You can see the lap came in at 2:22.64. Let's go ahead and make sure we are running the right lap. And we are. So let's go ahead and jump right into the corner by corner tutorial, starting with corner number one. As we approach corner one, you want to be all the way to the left, watching your breakpoint markers here. 3, 2, 1. Generally, I like to get off just after the 3 and start my braking just before the 2 marker. And if you can take a look, just as we're approaching the 2, I'm already got my foot coming onto the brake, and shortly thereafter, you will see my acceleration come down. So really, I'm almost right at the 2. And now setting up for the corner here. And this is going to be a somewhat mid to late apex corner. You are not going to apex here early, as you will go too wide. So you're going to want to kind of keep this a little bit wide, and like I said, apex a little bit mid to late. So let's go ahead and run that in second gear. You can see I'm still on my brake here, and also not only slowing myself down, but using that to rotate the car slightly. Now I'm kind of just allowing the car to roll a little bit on the gas. And as, whoop, let's come back a little bit here. Okay, let's roll it. So you can see the apex is really, like I said, mid to late. Now you're on that apex, and now you're on acceleration almost full. You're going to keep this kind of center, kind of tight, but this next apex in here, you want to be all over this cement section. The tighter you can stay in here and not out here, the more time you will gain. So keep that tight there, tight through here. You're going to keep this all the way through here. Shift up to fourth gear, as you can see. And now right in here, right at about the time I hit this apex here, maybe just after, I'm off the gas, I'm on my brake, but you've got to be careful here. You cannot get hard into the brake as you are coming into a corner, and the car tendency is to have the car slightly on a left-hand trajectory. If you're hard on the brake, you will spin out. The key to this is rather than turn the car while you're braking, get all your braking done in a straight line. So when you get to this point here, you're almost done with your braking. Now the car's good. You're only going to allow the car to roll. So let's take a look at that. So I'm getting all my braking done right now. Hard on the brake, off. So you can come, now I'm coming off that brake and I'm going to let the car start, completely letting the car roll now. I want to be a little bit late, probably about a middle apex, but I want to be on this apex so I can use as much of corner exit as I can. And as you can see, using as much corner exit as we can. Do not go further than, there is quite a bit of room over here. I probably had quite a bit of room to play with, but I wouldn't go more further than your left tires on the apex. You can probably play with that in practice, but probably don't want to be a whole heck of a lot more than that. Okay, coming up to this next corner, you're going to go deep, keep it straight. Going to drop it into second. Hard on the brake. A little bit of a middle apex. You're not on it over here. You want to kind of catch it here so that you can keep your car left so that you can catch the next part of this. I guess you would call it a chicane. So you can see, so we're kind of middle on that apex. Let the car come around. Keep it to the left because you've now got to get the car to rotate to the right. You want to be all over this apex, almost cutting it off. Careful here. It's real easy to get the car wide out here. You get even two tires in the dirt over here, and you're going to have a hard time getting the car back onto the racing surface. So keep that in mind. Third gear. This is a real key set of corners. These sets of corners are really followed by what is essentially, I guess, not a straightaway, but a section that is all out, where you're just flat out on the accelerator. If you don't get a good run off of this section here, you're going to be slow through that entire section, which will cost you a lot of time. So the key here is to be tight on this inner apex so that you can out, full accelerator through all the next set of turns coming up. Riding these apexes, keeping it as straight as I can. So I don't want to turn the car. I want to just let it ride straight, going over each one of those apexes. Now I'm just on this flat out section. Coming up to the S's here. And I want to keep the car as straight through these as I can. So it's way over to the left. Keep it straight. Over to the right. Keep it straight. To the left. Just catch a little bit of that grass. Try not to catch the apex there, but keep it as close to the white line there as you can, down to fifth. And this is tough. There's really not a breaking point that I refer to. Generally, I get to about a point where I would say I'm about 4 to 5 car lengths back, and you can see I'm on the brake, I'm coming off the accelerator, and I want to catch as much of this apex as I can to kind of help grab the 2 left tires and kind of wing it around that corner and help to keep the car on the track. It's gonna want to go wide. You gotta wait for it. You can see here you gotta kind of wait for the car to hook up. As I let the car roll through here, I'm just kind of gingerly on the accelerator. As soon as I feel the car hook up, I am all on, flat out. Keep it through here keep it in 5th gear through here. This double right-hander, generally I start my braking right at the 2, just after. I'm completely off the accelerator and hard on the brakes by 1. I keep it somewhat wide on this apex because I want to be able to come around and catch the next apex tight. So again, this is almost a double right-hander. Let the car roll because you want to keep your speed up through the center of this corner. If you slow the car down too much, you will lose a lot of time in here setting up for the second part of this corner. So third, keep it in third, let the car roll. Now to get the car slowed down, I'm into second, and now I'm looking for my apex over here, letting the car roll just slightly on the brake. And I want to straighten this out as much as I can. So I want to come in here as wide, apex as late as I can so that I'm coming off that as straight as possible. Because what follows next is a very long straightaway, and corner off here is very important to maintain good speed. So let's take a look at that. And we're already on it. I'm just coming out of that corner and I'm just about flat out. Again, we got a pretty decent straightaway here, so corner off is important. And now we're just flat out coming up to the inner portion of what makes VIR the grand course. Okay, coming up here again to this intersection. Generally, I like to start braking about 1 car length or just a bit more past the start of this line right here. So I go about a full car length and I start my braking. So let's take a look at that. Full car length coming off onto my brake, and you need to get the car wound down all the way to 2nd gear. Coming into this double right-hander. On the first part of this, you want to be wide of the apex. Keeping it wide down into 2nd gear. Get the car hooked up, and now you want to apex tight but a little bit late on the second half of this corner. And let's take a look at that. Staying in 2nd gear. Look ahead for this portion of the track out here, this apex. This is going to signal to you when you can start to really get back onto the accelerator. And it's a late corner. You have to be very, very patient here. You're starting to see that I've now got this corner completed. I can start getting back on my accelerator. The key to this, though, is that this corner continues even after you complete it, and you need to continue to the right to keep your car from going off track to the left. So you'll see here, you're going to continue that turn, continue it to the left so that you can make this little chute coming up here. And you'll see right here. Now this corner here, this is going to be a left into a right into a hard double left. It's very tricky. This really is something that takes more seat time than anything because first of all, it's a blind corner. You do not see your apex until the last second. So it's really all about timing and just getting a grip on what it feels like to go through there right. Once you get a grip on what it feels like to go through there right, you can then start practicing on the details. So let's take a look at that. Hard into third gear. As I'm coming in here, I'm hard on the brake, dropping it to third, and then double drop right into second. And then I know that my left-hand turn is coming, and I'm looking at this now. One of the things that might maybe help out is the tops of I guess that's a toilet. The top of the outbuildings there is should can signal to you or signals to you where your apex is. So I guess you could see that a little early by using that. I never really thought of it. So the top of the toilet out here kind of tells you where that corner is. Anyway, we're going to keep it tight here. Allow the car to roll. Once it hooks up, I'm on the gas just for a brief moment to keep my speed up. You can actually cut a little bit of that corner off, not too much. And then you're hard on the brake, dropping it into first to get the car to slow down, but also to rotate. Let the car roll. Once you see that apex, I would say a good portion of it, you can start your acceleration out of that corner. Coming up to the next portion here, this is again another tricky section because it is somewhat blind once again. This again is something that's going to take some seat time and some practice. But again, once you get it, it's something that you kind of sets in, and then you just kind of work on the details from there. But we're looking for the apex right here. As soon as you see that, set your car up for your right hand tires for the right hand side of that. Try not to hit it because it does upset the car. Right here, I'm on my brake hard. I'm dropping it into third. I'm looking for my next apex. Now, the key about this apex is that you can actually cut it a little bit. So you can really go over it, and the Corvette takes it quite nicely. Let the car roll through here. Very little acceleration. Car will rotate. Again, you can cut some of this corner off. Not much more than that. You will get an off track. And any more than that, you will get a slowdown. So be careful there. Again, something that you're going to want to kind of get the feel of through seat time and practice. In here, full out, and then once I get to this apex, I'm going to drop off the accelerator. I want to let the car settle into the track. And now I'm back on the accelerator as the car is hooked up and is into the track, and I'm kind of going to let it play and rotate here, playing with the accelerator, as I want to stay as tight to this chicane as I can. As you can see, I'm already in fourth. The reason I go to fourth is not only is it just as fast, but I found that it doesn't make the car push as much as I'm coming through here. And I found that it's also a lot more easy to be consistent lap after lap when I use fourth gear through here. So just a little explanation there. Keep it tight on this next chicane here. You want to be almost rolling over the top of it. Off the gas through here. Let the car rotate right over this chicane. Again, off the gas slightly. As you approach the next one, let the car rotate. Back on it with a little bit of trail brake to get the car to turn. Hard on it, full acceleration through here, trusting the car will rotate on that apex through here. Going to drop it from third down to second. Generally, my braking point is right as I can see the end of this chicane or the start of this line. You can see I'm already on the brake. So as soon as I can see that, I start my braking. Down to third, still on the brake, down to second. And I want to be over the top of this if I can. The tighter you can be on that, the more time you are going to make. The less wide you go, and the more tight you're able to keep it through here, again, the more time you will make. Through here in second, shift to third, keep it tight, almost over the top of the apex there. Come way wide, shift to fourth, way wide up here. This section here now requires a lot of practice because it can be tricky. Coming up to the chicane, you almost want to ride right over it straight. I'm off the gas just as I get to the chicane. So this is important. Just as I get to the chicane, I'm off the gas. I let the car roll over the chicane. And once the car rolls over the chicane, the car compresses into the track. When I feel that compression, I give the car a good brake, a good hard stiff brake to get the car slowed down. And then I kind of hold that brake, let back off of it, let it get through this apex. I tap the brake a little bit more to make sure that I'm right in here, to make sure I'm going to get the rear end around squarely enough to make the apex, and then I'm just full on. As soon as I feel that car hook up and I know I'm going to be able to hold this corner all the way through onto my front straight, I'm flat out. Gonna hold it as tight as I can through here. I should be flat out into fourth gear. Way wide, cutting across the track, cut as much of the track off as I can. And coming through again, keeping tight all the way to the finish line. And that completes a hot lap at VIR Grand Course with a lap time of 2:22.64. Anyway, I appreciate you all watching. If you have any questions or comments, y'all can leave them at the bottom. If you have any suggestions, again, reach out to me. And appreciate you coming out and watching. And we'll see you next time.